Hello again, and today I just want to make a couple announcements before we kick off this commentary. I am very excited to share that my last commentary in the Why I Hate series on boomers did really well in the metrics, and I've gotten comments on YouTube. I've got a whole fuck ton of comments and views on BitChute, so clearly I struck a nail somewhere, and I think I'm going to try and attempt to re-strike a nail and do a subject that everybody seems to talk about constantly, and it's something that I despise myself. And rather than do what I planned on doing, which I believe was a commentary on Brie Larson being a lizard person in the same way Ryan Johnson is, I'm going to pocket that for another day in the week, and you'll get something else as well. I just got to go through my subjects and figure it out. But in the meantime, we're going to talk today about why I hate the media. The media is the enemy of the American people, as uttered by the great God Emperor Donald J. Trump, as well as my partner in crime, Elder Rice, as well as fucking literally anybody who pays attention to the media and realizes that, yeah, the media is the enemy of the American people. So let's go over the facts. Fact one, they claim to be objective, and they're not. This is seen all over the place. I think the worst fucking example of this is that sorry, I'm trying to word this properly for the algorithm now that I might actually get picked up and shit. The brown-skinned rainbow man known as Don Lemon, or Don Lemon, because that nigga is salty. It's sour. There goes my chances. Anywho, Don Lemon claims to be objective, claims to not be partisan, and yet he is a fucking pushover softy with people on his side of the argument. And when it comes to mildly conservative people, he fucking goes nuts. And so there you go. Example one. Example two is Chris Cuomo. Same deal. You know, all of their opinion people on CNN are like this. And we've been getting all these reports coming out from Project Veritas. And I hope they get both those assholes. Like they got Van Jones that one time. Because that was amazing when they got Van Jones. That was like a moment where everyone who was, you know, paying attention to the media is like, oh, the media is just going to fucking spin this story until it literally has no legs. And that's what they did up until this year. And that's why they're on Ukraine now. It's just a fucking game. And so that leads into number two. They are just pushing narratives. They do not really report facts anymore. This is more apparent on MSNBC, on shows like the Rachel Maddow Show, AM Joy, The Last Word with Stop the Hammering. Stop the Hammering! Lawrence O'Donnell. And literally like every anchor, I think. I don't know of a fucking anchor on MSNBC that isn't just spinning a fucking ball of yarn into a narrative. And it's disgusting. Like, that, I think, is the big point. And we'll go into a bunch more. But that is, you know, the fucking problem in the media right there, is that everyone has an agenda that they want to push. Everyone has a narrative they want to follow. And instead of, you know, why don't we just be objective? We have to fucking, you know, delve into this shit-flavored water that is spinning a narrative. And it's really not helpful for anybody to be listening to these kinds of narratives. And beyond that, I think the really other big issue that I have with the media, and I think this might end up me going on a tear for most of the commentary, is the fact that they think they are a class. Much like the elites. They think they're more elite than the elites. I genuinely believe this, and you can see this with the way they act on Twitter constantly. Just, you know, we need validation. We need verification. Does anybody know about us? Oh, fucking of course not. But, yeah, we still have the blue check mark, and, like, ridiculously small numbers of people follow us for us to have that blue check mark. And it's all about this. You see this recently. I watched a Clownfish TV video on the New York Times' most recent hit piece on alternative media and YouTube and content creators in general. And these people think they are fucking class because this is what they're always going after. They're going after being the authoritative source. They're going after people who claim to know things. And it's just so full of shit. It's just such stupidity from these people. I do not understand why they think this way and why they believe that it is their right to impose their beliefs on others. You know, they operate in the same way as SJWs in that culty religious kind of status, but instead they believe themselves to be a race of people. And we all know, if we break down the metrics, what a race of people they might be and what age demographic. Spoiler alert, it might be millennials. I don't really know. I just would like to make those jokes. But for me, it's just, I see these people interact with the quote-unquote plebeians all the time. And they're always looking down with their noses at these people. And it just gets to a point where it's like, yeah, I don't want to engage with you. You are a fucking piece of shit. You're the scum of the earth. I disavow you in everything you stand for. And this is what pushes people away. I think the media has done a fantastic job of creating more libertarian-minded people, creating less authoritarian-minded people, because you just see the way they act. And the way they act is so childish. It's so comically like, mommy, or teacher, the bad kids are at it again. And it's just like, you know, are you a whole species of Randall Weems from Recess? Like, is that your idea of what it means to be a journalist, is to just tattle on people, you know, get them fired, get them, you know, demoralized, get them disassociated and disavowed? And I would say, you know, the people that your boy Zach calls the 12 psychos on Twitter, the journalists have that kind of mindset. They just are not paid to spend all day on Twitter. And for me, what I think is really the big umbrella that ties all of the points together is the fact that they are now trying to be in the spotlight for some strange reason. You know, you used to never see a journalist, or you would never want to see a journalist. And you still don't want to see a journalist, because that means you've either fucked up or they're coming for you. And nowadays, you see these journalists, and they don't believe in ethics. They don't believe in standards. They don't even believe in, like, going out there and doing the groundwork, doing the hard work to get the scoop and get the story. You don't see Lois Lanes anymore. The Lois Lane is now like a long-forgotten stereotype of a journalist. Now you see, like, fuck, I can't even name them. There's so goddamn many. You know, like, this is when the problem becomes just completely exacerbated, in my opinion, where you can't just, like, name a journalist stereotype offhand. Now you have pundits. Now you have the quote-unquote researchers, like a Becca Lewis, who... Yeah, that bitch thinks she's a fucking part of the media class, or the media race. And to me, it's just like, we're going to come to a point where it's not only going to be people who exclusively are on an alternative media diet, but everyone's just going to fucking say, you know what, we're done with you. You've clearly been leading us down just a beaten path the entire time, and we don't need you anymore. And that's the thing that the media is really afraid of, is the day that is coming that we won't need them anymore. And this is why they are just being so desperately power grabby. It's because we are at that point where we don't need them anymore, and they know it, and they're afraid, because that means their jobs are on the line. Time and time again on these new media fucking websites, you know, we see people like Carlos Maza fucking losing their jobs. I'm so thankful that fucking Vox let go of him. He is one of these people that is the new media type where, oh, we have to go after people who, go after us. We're the protected class. You can't say anything about us. And I will get onto another protected class with the big nose. Probably only on BitChute if I can get the uploader to work. But maybe I can write something out that would be safe for YouTube that really just talks about the nation rather than the people. But this is what the journalist wants at the end of the day. They want to be that level protected class. And you see it in people like Carlos Maza, Becca Lewis, Chris Cuomo, all of these fucking strange weirdos who are just like, I believe in the media. I believe we need to continue the media. The media is where the power is. And it's because these people are fucking bloodlusting, power mad, quote unquote elites. And they are just hungry. They do not give a shit about the truth. If they gave a shit about the truth, they wouldn't be doing what they be doing. They realize that, like, oh, maybe all this overhead to finance these shows is probably useless now. That's why the only journalists I still have respect for are people like Tim Pool and Luke Rudkowski and Ford Fisher. It's because they saw what is happening now, like years before anyone else did. They were working, or at least in Tim Pool's case, he was working inside these companies and realizing that they're just leading themselves into oblivion. And so Tim now just does his own thing. He's got the Subverse news, and he's got all this other shit. And to me, that's awesome. This is what we need for the news. We cannot live on this media diet anymore of pundits spinning webs and people who are, pro gatekeeping. It's like, the fuck does that have to do with telling the truth and reporting the news, the gatekeeping? I have watched that Carlos Maza talking about gatekeeping clips so many times, and I am still like, my head is just still confused. Like, I have not gotten to the point where I can truly understand that, because it's just such a fucking crazy concept. And you hear him talk about it like, oh yeah, this is normal. And I don't know, I just want to fucking explode. It's like, who gave you the fucking right, you fairy, you poofter, to, talk about not allowing certain people to tell the news? Like, who the fuck gave you that right? And, this is why my media diet consists of people primarily like Sticks and Tim Pool. It's because, like, they're the ones with the daily news updates. They have really good takes. I've never really had a huge disagreement. I've only had, like, minor disagreements with them on stuff. But I know at the end of the day, they're just trying to get to the objective truth. And this is the same... Fuck me, man. This is like that same shit with Mahler and all those ridiculous content creators who are like, fuck objectivity, fuck getting to, what this piece of media is trying to say. And we have now let this consume everything. You hear actors talking about fucking political issues and they sound retarded. And you know why? It's because they're listening to these fucking retarded journos. They're listening to these goddamn pundits who are fucking just, again, leading them into oblivion. Because, and I say this with, like, almost complete honesty. They're not almost complete honesty. With complete honesty. Fuck it. The actor is retarded. The actor is not a smart person. And if you listen to fucking people who are there to create entertainment and they're not really well read, they look dumb. They look stupid. They look like the only reason they think they're smart is because they're reading the works of smart people and then passing it off as, oh, I'm such an intellectual. Chris Evans and Mark Ruffalo, two biggest fucking idiot actors out there. Like, just, they regurgitate nonsense. They fucking work with NGOs and or Mark Ruffalo specifically works with NGOs and shit. And this is why I hated Mark Ruffalo for fucking years, is because he's just so dumb. And it's like, yeah, it's because look at your media diet. Look at who you fucking talk to all the time. Look at who you hate. You hate anyone on the right. Like, oh, wow, like, what a fucking great way to live your life, dude. Just hate an entire section of the country because they don't align with your opinions. Wow, you're such a fucking brave individual. Stunning and brave. And before I just keep ranting forever and do a half-hour episode of my show, whatever this is, whatever my rants amount to, in summation, the journalist is the enemy of the American people. They should not have protected status under the fucking Fourth Amendment, I believe, as well as the First Amendment. If they're just gonna fucking lie to your face, that is not what those amendments were set up for. They were set up for the tyranny of government overtaking the media, and instead the media now works hand in hand with a certain section of the government. The boomers call them the demon rats. And it's just so obvious. It's just so clear and visible and transparent. And your lies are going to cost you your career more than fucking getting blocked by the President of the United States. Again, that is still one of the funniest media stories of the decade. Trump is, blocked my account and it's costing me my career. Like, I still laugh when I think about it. And, so yeah, in summation, if you're a journalist out there and you want to, tell the news, do what Tim Pool does. Do what I'm fucking doing right now, only way better. It does not cost a lot of money to just start a fucking channel. In fact, on the places where you can actually submit your own content, all that shit's free, unless it's like Vimeo, because they deal in movies and therefore they want money or something. I don't really know how Vimeo works anymore. It seems really outdated by my metrics and my observation of YouTube in the past decade. And so to all you pundits, all you journos, all you losers who want to continue down this path into oblivion, tread lightly, because no one's going to find you in that fucking black hole.